We appreciate everybody getting on to this week's Sunday Night Purge Call and hopping on with us. I will just hop right into it. Like I said, is unable to be on the call tonight, so this is Josh Workman welcoming to the call once again. I will hop right into it. We appreciate you guys getting on to the call. Without further ado, I'd like to kind of throw out some accolades and who puts on this call every week. He's an executive consultant in the business, serial entrepreneur, owns a few restaurants and a music box company. He's a 5-star trip winner, the 3x4 mentorship creator, as I mentioned, and longtime friend and mentor. Richard, are you there?
I am here. How are you, young man? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well indeed. Thank you for stepping in for Michelle tonight. Really appreciate it. You always do such a great job. I get calls afterwards about your sexy voice, so, just saying.
I appreciate that. Well, I can't do it every week then. I'll only have to do guest apperances, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep them wanting more, right? Just keep
right,
a little
exactly.
sneak
Can't
every
do
now
it
and
every
again.
week. Exactly.
I love it. Okay, great. Well, again, thanks very much, Josh. I really appreciate it. Hey, everybody. How you doing? It's 8 o'clock Sunday night. Thank you very much for taking the time out to get on to the Sunday Purge Call. And more than that, in fact, congratulations for taking the time out. You're not helping me. You're helping yourself by getting on this call. And so good for you for getting on the call and taking the time to invest in your business. Just for those of you who are brand new, I know there's a lot of new people on the call today. I am executive consultant Richard Laidler. I'm registered for simulcast as well. Thanks to the AMBIT business, I'm financially free. I'm not one of the yellow jacket earners. I'm not driving a Ferrari or an Aston Martin just yet. But all of my bills are paid every month, whether I actually do any work or not. And trust me, as a 52-year-old man, that's a very comforting feeling. And it was surprisingly simple to do. I'm not going to say easy, because like anything, there's work to put into something. But compared to anything else I've done, and I've had successful businesses. I sold a business for 7 figures a few years back. I have a couple of Dickey's barbecue restaurants. Whilst this business may not be perfect, it is absolutely the best business model out there for people to build a business. And it's a business that anyone can build. It doesn't have to be someone who has business experience. It could be someone who's, just got out of college or who's been, a housewife or a house husband at home with the kids for 18 years and wants to go and do their own thing. It makes absolutely zero difference. All we do is help people save money on an electricity bill. And everybody knows people who want to save money on an electricity bill. But anyway, let's get down to this particular call just to manage expectations. And I always start the call this way. This call is extremely functional in its concept. It's not about trying to motivate you. It's not about, trying to build your why. It's not about you, feeling all hyped up and getting off the call and want to, just take the world by storm. It's about giving you the functional things you need to do the business. I find that missing in so many trainings of different types. They'll give you all the hype and all the books you should read and how to get in touch with your why, and they are all valuable things. That's fine. But where's the how-to? It's Monday morning. What do I do? It's Monday morning lunchtime. What do I do? Tell me what to do, the functional things. And that's what this call is all about. It's about giving you what you need to plan your AMBIT week this coming week. So you never actually start your week with I really should do something with my AMBIT business. I mean, imagine if you started your job week that week where you thought, well, you know what? I really should do something about my job this week. Maybe I'll turn up, maybe I won't. No, of course you won't. AMBIT's exactly the same. So I know planning your week sounds like a boring call. I know some of you would rather hear calls on how to invite, or I often get asked, how do I overcome objections? Or how do I get in touch with my why? Or more importantly, how do I get my team in touch with their why because they're not working hard enough? Well, let me tell you this, and this is a sugar coating free zone. If you're going to fail in your AMBIT business, the number one reason why you will fail is because you didn't plan your AMBIT week. It's not because you didn't know how to overcome objections. The system's in place to help you with that. It's not because you don't know how to have a real slick invite. The system's in place to help you with that. And it's most certainly not because your team are not getting in touch with their why. There's a system in place for doing that. The reason why you'll fail is because on Sunday today, or Monday morning, you didn't have a plan for your AMBIT business. And let me tell you, as I say, if you didn't turn up to work during the week, that wouldn't work either. Okay? I mean, bearing in mind what we do in AMBIT is real simple. It's very, very simple. We help a handful of people save money on a bill they're already paying. And when I say a handful, I mean when you first start, that's just 2 customers. So sign yourself up if you can and call your mum up and say, hey, mum, be my customer. You're done. You've got your money back. I have Dickie's Barbecue Restaurants. I told you this. They're $300,000 to start. It takes me 5 years to get that money back. This business, you have your money back within a week. And then once you've got your first 2 customers, then you're going to help 3 people who hate their job or need more money or whatever, find plan B for $75, $100, including the $24.95. That's all we do. A couple of people save them money on their electricity bill and find 3 people who are sick and tired of their job. 1 or 2 of those. Now, sure, there are some simple skills to learn, like how to read an electricity bill or fine-tune the invites. But our usual AMBIT daily routine is to look at someone's bill, see if we can save them some money, and to ask people to take a look at a DVD of the AMBIT business to see if it makes sense. That's it. They will become a customer or they won't. They will become a consultant or they won't. Nothing you can do can change that. They're either going to do it or they're not. And if they're not, we don't care. And if they do, we get excited, we plug them in and help them out. And the reason why is because all we're doing is building is getting our 2 customers, building 3 people directly underneath us, because everybody on this call is in the business and has seen the AMBIT business presentation where Chris Chambliss put up there for us what some people call just a guide. Numbers don't really work that way. I say, screw it. Yes, they do. I build my business that way. 3 people who get 3 people who get 3 people down to 7 levels, help them all get qualified with 2 customers each. Or if you're outside Texas, I know we've got a lot of people on the call from other states, that's just 3 customers. Get that down to 7 levels. There's $11,000 in residual income waiting for you. And all you did, and presenters, stop forgetting to say this in the business presentation, is you got your first 3 people started. Their 3 people came from their network. Their 3 people came from their network, okay? So just remember, that's all we do. Super simple. So simple that, in fact, most people should have success. But most people do not. And it's for no other reason than they didn't set the time aside to do AMBIT. Everybody's looking for the silver bullet. And, how do I invite? How do I overcome that objection? No. Forget all that. You're going to learn that. The system's in place. You've got leaders and executives and regionals and seniors who will help you overcome any objections. All you need to do is turn up. Just turn up. Stop starting your week with a hope and a prayer that you may get time to do something. Because let me tell you, while you don't have a boss over your shoulder, it's way too easy not to do something. You can't do that at work, because you've got a boss who's looking at his clock. And now with the new clocking in systems, where very often many of you will have to clock in on a computer, they know if you turn up or not. And you know what? What would be kind of fun is to develop a system for all of the AMBIT consultants that you have to clock in. That would be awesome. I would love to do that. You have to clock in so that you can do the 30 to 60 minutes work that you need to do every day. But unfortunately, it's not around. So it's way too easy not to do anything. And you know what happens when you don't do anything? Nothing happens. You don't make any money, you get disheartened, and you quit with the excuse, well, this business just isn't for me, or you know what, I couldn't make it work, or those things don't work. No, you didn't turn up to do the simple things that we do. Help a couple of people save money on an electricity bill, and help 3 people get started with a plan B for $100 that's going to get them out of that job that they hate or whatever. Okay? All right. So let's move on. Okay, so this call is all about you opening your calendar. So everybody on this call, hopefully you have your calendar in front of you and you're looking at it to see where on Monday you're going to make a couple of calls. Where on Tuesday, you're going to make a couple of calls. Okay? And if you don't do that, I'm telling you right now, your business won't work, or it will grow very, very slowly, and it won't be AMBIT's fault. AMBIT's doing $1.5 billion in revenue, 1.3 million customers. They're doing it right. They turn up every day, okay? So AMBIT is no different than your job or a traditional business. Give it the same respect and turn up, okay? So everybody's got their calendars open on the call. All right. For those of you who are new to this call, what we do is we help you prepare and plan your coming week for your AMBIT business, okay? You've got your business started. You're very excited, and you're thinking, oh, my goodness me, what do I do? It's kind of, you know, when you just turned up to your job, you want someone to say, well, there's your desk, there's your phone, there's the toilet, there's the coffee machine. You know, you need to be here at 9. You know, lunch is between 11:30. We need that, right? And that's what we're doing on this call. We're going to help you prepare your AMBIT week. We're going to help you find some space in your busy week. And everybody's busy. Excuse me 1 second. I'm just going to have a sip of my tea. Lovely cup of tea. Okay, so that's what we're going to do on this call. All right, and then what we do is every 2 weeks I choose a consultant, and I work with them directly on this call. And my guest is on the call right now, sitting and waiting for me to bring her in, and I will in just a second. And what I do with that guest, what we did actually last week with my current guest, was last week we pulled down the top 10 names from her written list of people, and they're the written list of people that we're going to speak to that last week, the coming week. We pulled down the top 10 names from her list. Now, I'm not going to go into discuss how to build a written list and how to score it with the Erica system. If you're brand new, plug into your upline and ask them how to do that. If they don't know, keep going upline until you find someone who knows how to create a written list and create and score it using the Erica system. There's a lot of people out there who know exactly what to do. Keep asking, going upline until you find someone who can help you. Or if you're in the DFW area, I actually train exactly on this call, exactly how to create a written list, exactly how to score it using the Erica system, as well as how to do everything we do on this call. I'm doing that at the training on October the 1st, which is hosted by Richard and Miriam Wader, who currently are enjoying a 5-star trip down in Hawaii. No, I'm not jealous, really. Yes, I am. I would love to be there as well. But if you really want to find out about how best to create your written list and how best to create the structure that's going to be the difference between you failing and succeeding, come to that training, and I cover that. I get one of the longest segments of training to be able to teach you how to do that. Again, I'm not going to go into detail right now because I've got to get a lot done on this call. But anyway, so what we did last week with Mary was we pulled down the top 10 names from a list of people that we scored on the Erica system. And then last Sunday, on the call with everybody listening in, and a lot of you who are listening in will remember this, we prepared an invite for every single one of those people. We didn't get through all 10, but we got through the balance that we couldn't do on last Sunday's call on the accountability calls, which we do during the week. And they're all recorded and posted up on the EC Writers Facebook page. And I record it now. It takes me a little longer to do it, but I record it now in such a way that you can listen to it on your iPhone, on your computer, on your iPad, on your Android, however you want to listen to it. It's all there. So I can accompany you on the way to work in the mornings, or even accompany you on the way home. Or maybe when you're picking the kids up, you can have lovely English Richard there talking to you. So that's there for you to be able to listen into. So we prepared the invites last Sunday. And then what my particular victim did, Mary, on Monday morning, she'd allocated the time to do 2 invites a day, Monday through Friday. On Monday, I mean, it was very comforting for her to sit there with 10 names and the 10 invites already written out, perfectly designed to give her the perfect invite that was simple and easy for her to do. That is a prepared week. Compare that to, it's Monday, I've got nothing prepared for your AMBIT week. I mean, it's truly a difference, and that's what this call does. Okay, and then what basically Mary did was every day, Monday through Friday, she made the 2 invites. So what she'd done the 2 invites, and then at the end of the day, there was a 10-minute accountability call with me. So Monday, she did 2 invitations, and then in the evening around 6 o'clock, 5:30, she called me for an accountability call, and we went through how things went. They went well, they went badly, it doesn't matter. The point was the accountability call made sure that she made those calls, because if she called me at 5:30 and hadn't made those calls and didn't have a good reason why, That's kind of awkward. And that's why the accountability call exists. And this continues Monday through Friday. 2 invites a day, 1 accountability call. Additionally, we also put in the calendar 1 business presentation and to get onto 1 team call. Now, wherever you are in your area, find out where your local business presentation is and turn up. Again, you know, it's very easy not to turn up, but you started your AMBIT business for a reason. It was to get out of debt, to whatever your why is, to leave your job, to bring your wife home, to buy that Aston Martin, whatever it is. You started it. So, you know, you can fake it and say, oh, I don't want to go to business presentation. No, you started for a reason. Remember, we're treating our AMBIT business with the same respect as we treat our job. So get to at least 1 business presentation a week and get on 1 team call a day. Many of you are from different teams. Some of you are from the EC Riders team, which is ours. Everybody is welcome to come on our call. All the details for that are also posted on the EC Riders Facebook page. I also send out a text, and I'm going to talk about that in a second at the end of the call, how you can get plugged into the texting program so you can be informed when these calls happen and when the team calls happen. But if you don't plug into ours, plug into your own. So this is what your week looks like. 2 invites a day, 1 accountability call a day, 1 business presentation at least a week, 1 team call a day. That adds up to an average of 30 to 60 minutes a day. A very small amount of time to dedicate to something that's going to set you financially free. My Dickie's Barbecue, 2 of them, if I was working them full time, I would be there 10 to 12 hours a day, probably 6, maybe even 7 days a week. That's commitment. My AMBIT business out-earns both of my Dickie's Barbecue businesses. Is it worth it? I ask you the question. I expect you all to be nodding your head. I can feel the phone rocking. You're all nodding your head. Absolutely, it's worth the effort, okay? All right, so as I said, last week we started with regional consultant. Well, I didn't say who it was, actually. We started with Mary, but what it was, my victim last week was regional consultant Mary Wine, and we had a fantastic week. Last Sunday, as I say, we pulled down the names. We created the invites. She wrote them down, made 2 calls, 2 invites a day. She called me every day too. All the calls, including the daily accountability calls, are recorded and posted on EC Riders Facebook. A great listen, as I say, on the way to work or the way home from work. Now, Mary and I have finished our week together, and I'm very sad, of course, because we've had a great week. And this is her 2nd Sunday. And now what we're going to do is we're going to purge the week. We're going to purge the list, which is why this is called the Sunday Purge Call. The yeses are going to get plugged in. So that's the people who said yes to the business. The no's are really not yet. They're going to be put onto a drip list, and they're going to be called back in 3 to 6 months. And the maybes we're going to evaluate. Are they a real maybe, and we need to get into another business presentation or on a 3-way call, or are they just pretending to be a maybe, and really they're just a no? If they're a no, we purge them. We put them onto a 3-month to 6-month list. And why do we do that? Why are we strict with this purge? It's because next week we want Mary to start with a nice, clean plate. And if you've got maybes and ifs and buts and, you know, all this sort of thing hanging around, it stops you bringing on a fresh new group of people that you can talk to about the business. So the yeses we plug into the system, and we plug them into this call. The no's, boom, they're gone. Put them on a drip list. Let's not be precious. If the guy keeps avoiding your call, he said he would do it, but he's avoiding your call, purge him. Get rid of him. Put him on the purge list. We're going to call him back in 3 months to 6 months. If he's not answering your call, there's either a very good reason, and he will get back to you, or he doesn't want to join. Face it. Purge him. We're going to get back to him in 3 to 6 months. His timing's not right. Okay, so with that said, I'm already on my soapbox, Mary. What am I doing? Good Lord, I'm already exhausted. Okay, well, with that, let's bring Mary onto the line because I want to talk about her week. We've had a fantastic week. We've had ups and we've had downs. We've got a brand new consultant, but we got a lot of great results. So first things first, regional consultant Mary Wine, are you on the call, my lovely?
Yes, I am.
Hello there. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Oh, my goodness me. I couldn't be any better. Fantastic. As you can tell, I haven't even had a coffee. I'm already overexcited. What's going on, Mary?
Nothing. I guess I'm going through withdrawal. Not talking to you for 2 days.
I know. How are you going to manage? I can't imagine that. All right. Well, let's dive straight on into your. What's that? Sorry, lovely.
With a cup of tea.
With your cup of tea, love. All right. Well, I've actually got mine. I bet you haven't got yours. Here's another slurp. Hold on. Nothing like a nice cup of tea. All right. So let's talk about your week. First of all, just kind of in general, how was your week? Were you really well? No, in fact, let's keep Ambit to one side. Were you busy last week with your normal stuff, with your life, and with taking care of your mom and all that type of thing? Were you pretty busy already?
Absolutely. What I mentioned last week, the first call, is that this past week and this coming week would probably be the busiest weeks of my well, I wouldn't say of the year, but they were very, very busy, very challenging. I knew that going into it.
Well, good for you for being brave enough to come into a super busy week in your traditional job when we're going to be adding to it, but also making sure you can't hide, because you got to call me every day, and there's a bunch of people who call into those recordings. You can't hide. So good for you for being brave. But so bearing in mind it was one of your busiest weeks of the year, did you manage to get Ambit? Did you manage to fit Ambit into your week and get all of your 10 calls done?
I got 9 done, and when I say that, I wasn't able to connect with one person, so there was an attempt, but yes. Right.
So for those of you listening on this call, don't tell me you're busy. I know you're busy. I'm busy. Mary's busy. Most people on this call are busy. This is why we do what we're doing right now. Remember, 30 to 60 minutes every day is because I know you're busy. Stop using that as an excuse. You've got an Ambit business to stop you having to be at the thing that's making you busy. Okay, so find the time. That's why we do this call. Okay, so you had a busy week. You got all 10 calls done. How did everything go? Did you feel good about your week? Was it no different? Was it better? Was it worse? How was it?
I have to say this has been the best week since I've joined Ambit. The absolute best, hands down. Because I had a plan, like a very definitive plan. And with that, just doing something every day, it created a momentum that I think I could carry, that I can carry on. I know I can carry it on. Up to this point, I'd work hard a couple of days, then back off. And it's a start-stop thing that just, was taking my energy. And so just taking this week and really buckling down, having focus, making it a priority, putting it on my calendar, just opened my eyes to how much I could really accomplish in a small amount of time.
It's ironic, isn't it? Because in your job, you have to do that anyway. We do it. All of us do it all the time in our jobs. We have to turn up, we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to go to the meeting, we have to do that. And yet in our Ambit business, it's something abnormal to be organized and be planned for the week. But isn't it great that, when you actually do plan your week, as you said, we got organized last Sunday, got your calls done. You started Monday with your invites in place and when you were going to do it. And you managed to get everything done in your busiest week of the year. And it was your best Ambit week to boot. I mean, that's awesome. Fantastic. All right, well, let's dive into some details. Have you got the list of the names of the people you're actually speaking to? Because I know a lot of people are going to want to know how things went specifically. Let's go through some people and kind of was it a direct approach? Was it an opinion approach? Was it a why approach? Was it a reactive approach? Let's go through some of the people through your list about how you approached them and how it went. For those of people who are on the call. Okay.
So the first person on my list was Jeannie. Mm-hmm. I went with a direct approach. It so happened that she was starting her own business. Mm-hmm. So she wasn't real interested in Ambit, but I understood mm-hmm. that. And our conversation did turn out where she was very supportive of what I was doing and offered her assistance as, kind of a referral. So that was perfect.
Okay, so she will refer people to you, as and when she meets people who are maybe looking. So that's great. So Jeannie, we're going to purge her for a call back in 3 to 6 months.
Right.
Perfect. And what? All right. So next.
The next was James. Mm-hmm. And with James, I did a direct approach as well. We just connected, I believe it was Thursday or Friday morning. He's on his way out of town. We have time scheduled for Tuesday.
Okay. Now, why did you go for a direct approach with James?
Because James is a business person. He has a lawn care service, and we're not great friends. I'm his customer.
So how was your approach?
How was it?
So because I know he's done great service for you. I know you complimented him and you talked about him. You talked about his season. His work was seasonal. So you were direct and because people who are listening on the call may have a yard guy who's working with them, or they know someone. Why did you go direct, and what kind of approach did you take?
So I went direct because I didn't really feel like we had the relationship to really ask an opinion. I went direct just because he has provided good service.
Right.
The way I see he runs his business is admirable. And so I told him that. He understood that. When he asked, he's like, so what are we talking about? Is this directly related to lawn care? And I said, no, it's not, but it's closely aligned. And he's like, well, initially he was like, well, I'm not sure I'd want to do anything outside of lawn care. And I said, well, you should at least take a look. Can we just schedule some time and take a look? And he said, okay, yes, I'm going out of town today. I'll be back Monday playing catch up. Let's meet on Tuesday.
So did you call him on the phone, or was it face to face?
So I called him on the phone. Didn't get him, left a message. And then when he called back, I was actually very busy with my full-time job. And so the hurry was not, it was not a ploy. So I was really trying to push in to get through. That felt very natural.
But specifically with him, you were in a little bit of a hurry. You said, hey, listen, we've been doing business together for a while. You've always done a really good job for me. But I know that your type of work is very seasonal. So we kind of may have addressed his why. And then I remember this because we discussed this. You said that your work is sometimes very seasonal. I've been working on a business project that's doing very well in the DFW area, and I'd love you to take a look at it because it may be able to help you in the downtimes in your business. So I know you're kind of specific in that area. You were in the hurry, you were direct, but you did address a why that he has downtimes in his business, and this may be something you can take a look at. It may or may not be his cup of tea. I know that you did the takeaway, and that's perfectly fine. But let's meet on such and such, and you arranged a meeting with him on Tuesday next week, correct?
Correct.
Fantastic. All right. So for those of you who are listening, that's the kind of thing that a direct approach is. For someone you don't know very well, you can't really talk too much about a why. You can't talk about his kids or your kids or whatever because you don't know him very well. But you do know someone who's in lawn care does have downtime in their business. And so this is a great filler for that time. It's a great thing to be able to look at. And at the end of the day, it may or may not be his cup of tea, but let's just take a look. What are you doing on Friday? What are you doing on Tuesday? Whatever. And that was a great approach for James. So good deal on that one. All right. So you're going to see him. So that's a result for us. A result for us on this call is successfully getting the opportunity to show the plan. It's not whether they join or not. That's a bonus. So that's a score one there. Well done. You scored a goal. Well done. All right. So that's James. Let's move on to someone else.
The next one was Chris.
Okay. Talk to me about Chris.
So with Chris is a friend that I talked to previously over maybe the past year or so. Chris is concerned about getting money together for his retirement. I'd also shared some of my financial concerns with caring for my mom. So we'd talk back and forth about stuff and different ways to generate additional income. So when I called him, that was a direct approach. I didn't have to, I was in a hurry because I called from work, so, I have a conference call soon, but can we meet for lunch? Lunch, dinner, coffee, something. Have something I want to talk to you about. So he accepted the invitation. We met, we had coffee, and that was on a Tuesday. We had the meeting in McKinney that evening. He came out as a follow-up to the meeting in McKinney and joined the business that evening.
Didn't Paul Mitchell, senior consultant Paul Mitchell, wasn't he the guy who helped you with that?
Absolutely.
He's such a great guy. He's such a great guy. Yeah. So he joined. So Chris joined the business.
Yes, he did.
Fantastic. So that's a direct result of, pulling him on from your list, creating an invite. And I remember at the time at the invite we were talking about, you being in a hurry, the fact that you knew each other, you discussed, your financial concerns in the past. You had something that is really working really well for you. So you had your being in a hurry. Then you discussed your why and his why. Hey, I've been trying to get some money together so I can take care of my mom better and I can be more of a daughter to my mom, not just a caregiver. And I know with you having retirement around the corner, I know this has been a concern for you. I got something that I want you to take a look at. I'm really excited about it. It's working for me, and I think it'll work for you. So this was the approach I know we talked about last Sunday. Listen, it may or may not be your thing, Chris, and that's perfectly fine. So the takeaway was there just in case he said no. But what are you doing on such and such? I want to show you what we're doing. And that was the approach that we took on that one. He met with you. He then re-met with you for a validation and joined the business. So that's when it's easy, it's real easy, isn't it, Mary?
Yes, it is.
And what's comforting about that is, again, for those of you who are listening on the call, sometimes it seems difficult, especially when you first start and maybe you're talking to your friends and family. Sometimes they're really judgmental, whether they're talking to you either about being a customer or being a consultant. Sometimes your close friends and family, and I'm talking to you who have just got started, by the way, who are on the call right now. Sometimes it feels really disheartening and you don't know what to say and they're kind of ridiculing you and this type of thing. Let me tell you this. First of all, you're only ever going to need a couple of customers when you first get started. Now, you may want to get a few more than that because you've got a triple bonus going on right now. So work with your upline to help you get your customers. But you're only ever going to need 3 good consultants who are working with you. Because what we're going to do, remember I talked on the beginning of the call, is those 3, once we've got them started as your direct downline, you're going to help them with their 3. And then they're going to help their people with their 3. So those of you who've just got started, don't worry. I know it's disheartening if people are ridiculing you or whatever, customers or consultants. Don't worry. Stay with it. Stay plugged in. You just learn a few little skills. I know when I first got started, I was messing up like crazy. I know Mary and I have had conversations about how when she first got started, she was doing things completely differently. When you know how to do it right, and you'll learn how to do it right by plugging into your upline and plugging into calls like this, it's really very simple. Remember, we just have to get a couple of customers, and we're going to help 3 people start a business that's going to help them get financially free. Like, for example, with Chris, it was smooth and flowing. He enjoyed looking at the business. He really liked it. He had a very strong why with his retirement around the corner, and he joined the business. And as you heard Mary say, it was really easy. When it's really easy, it's really easy. But sometimes if someone doesn't want to do it or someone's ridiculing you, let them go. And friends and family, they're the worst ones in most cases. Just let them go. Build your business with your upline. Trust me, those same friends and family will be back in touch with you when you're making money as an RC, as an SC, and as an EC. And when you've just bought a new car or you've just gone on a new vacation. How did you afford that? Oh, well, do you know that business you ridiculed a year ago? Well, that just bought me a brand new vacation. Thank you. And that's just kind of the way it works. So I got on my soapbox a little bit there. Thank you for allowing me to do that, Mary. So that's great news with Chris. So not only did we get a score because we got him to take a look, but we got an added bonus that he joined the business. Well done. Lovely. If you look at it, that's only 33% of your business done. You only need 2 more. You've got your one that you're running with. You only need 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Okay, so what's next?
So next on my list is Diane. That one went pretty easy as well. This is someone who actually knew my mom, so it was kind of a connection point with her. I said I was in a hurry, gave some highlights to her about how mom was doing, and said that that I started a business that's helping with mom's care. And, I admired the way she had worked with the group that they were in and different things I've seen her do, entrepreneurial. And I wanted an opportunity, I asked her if she was able to meet me for lunch. And the day, we came up with a day this coming week. So we're going to meet on Thursday.
So that was kind of a direct approach.
Yes.
attached to your why, wasn't it? It was you basically said, because she knows your mum,
yes.
And she knows that you work hard to take care of your mum, and you said, I've got a brand new project that's allowing me to have more money and more time, so I can not only be my mum's caregiver but also her daughter. I've watched you, from afar with, how professional you are with what you're doing. I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing to see if it's something that would suit you. You were fairly direct in that approach. It may or may not be your cup of tea, Diane, and that's perfectly fine. My friendship with you is much more important than you taking a look at this, but this is really working very well for me. I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing. What are you doing after work on such and such, or whenever you set the appointment? And I remember that's how, and again, I'm repeating the invitation for those of you who are listening on the call so that you kind of get a feel for how it is. Always be in a hurry. Use your why and their why if you can. For example, if it was me, I'd be, hey, listen, John, I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now. I'm just going to get on the conference call. But last time we spoke and I was talking about Max. Max is my son going to college, and I want to make sure he came out of college without any college debt. Well, I know your daughter's going to college in a couple of years' time, and I've started a new project that means that Max, my son, is going to come out of college without any debt. And I want you to take a look at what I'm doing, because it may work for your daughter as well. I'm not sure if it's going to be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. But you should take a look, because this is really going to work for Max. What are you doing after work on Friday? So that's how you do an invite with your why. That was my why. I related it to his why. So those of you who are looking at your list, your 10 names, and you know their why, you know them pretty well, and they know your struggles, you know their struggles, you can do that. Be in a hurry. Address your why. So I've been meaning to give you a call, because remember when we were speaking about this? Well, this is helping me out with my why. This may be something that will help you out with your why. It's really working very well for me. Again, there's a takeaway. I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea or not, but what are you doing on Friday? I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing. Okay, so that's the approach, the type of approach that Mary was taking with Diane. So let's move on to another invite there and see how that one. Let's go for another one. Let's go for one that didn't go right, that didn't go well.
Okay. Well, actually, all of them turned out okay, but I really have
now you're just bragging.
Now
you're just bragging, Mary. I'm just so good at this. Everyone went well. I love it. So well, one that maybe didn't get the result that you would like. Let's pick on one of those.
Yeah. So Bob. So Bob is a property manager, and I approached him with a direct approach. I was in a hurry. We had some interaction last year that I reminded him of that, and as soon as I mentioned it, he's like, "Oh yes, I remember you."
Yeah, this was the fence issue, right? The fence wasn't the fence falling down, and you enjoyed working with him to get that problem figured out. Right.
So when I started down the path of the invite, he kind of stopped me and said, hey, I have been in this business a long time, and I do not do anything alongside my traditional business.
Okay.
And
so how did you react to that?
I took a deep breath and pivoted and said, well, okay, I completely understand that, and I respect that, but by my seeing you and how you carried yourself during our interaction, I was wondering if you could still just look at what I'm doing. and perhaps give me some feedback, give me some ideas or some direction. So I went from, kind of asking him to take a look within the back of my mind, thinking he may be a customer, to just kind of pivoting it more to an opinion approach.
Right. That's a good idea, because sometimes we can get thrown in the deep end here. And this is good coaching right now, because, very often we talk about invites to say this, then say this, and say this. Well, let's pick on one that didn't go right. So, again, it didn't go badly. Bob, he was very nice to you, and you started and he cut you off halfway through. What do you do when someone does that? And you did a brilliant job of pivoting very slightly. First of all, my first thing is this for everybody on the call. It doesn't matter that he's rejecting you or closing you down or whatever. It doesn't matter. Remember, we only need 3. We're not going to let this guy who wants to stick to his traditional business that I respect completely, we're not going to let him bring us down. He's not stealing our dream. It is what it is. But Mary, what you did, so first of all, don't worry about it. We don't care. We do not care. We only need 3 consultants. We're going to help them get 2 or 3 customers each, and we're going to move on, whether this guy's involved with the business or not, and that's perfectly fine. But what you did, Mary, was you pivoted perfectly, because you said, I'd like you to take a look at the business, there's synergy in what we're doing, and he shut you down by saying, listen, I'm only ever doing this type of thing. He's probably been approached by other things before, and you did great. You said, well, you know what? I'd love you to take a look at the business anyway, because I'm relatively new in business. I'd really appreciate your opinion. But more than that, Bob, I know you're really well networked, and I need to, talk to you. I'm looking to build people to help me build this in the DFW area, and I know you're really well connected. So I'd love you to take a look at what we're doing, so that you can give me advice. Again, I know it's not for you. Take it away from him. Let's take it away. Let's get the power back. But again, I really appreciate your opinion, and I'd love you to refer me should there ever be an opportunity for that to happen. Okay, so you did that. Then what happened with Bob?
We scheduled a meeting. Mm-hmm. We met last week. He, gave an opinion. He talked very, kind of paternally or like he's really sharing something, teaching me something, and make valid points, that all things that I've already heard, through AMBIT. But then kind of he got a little bit softer towards the end of the conversation and said, well, I can't do this because of, the rules and regulations I live by, being a real estate agent as well. But if somebody asks me about utilities, I can give them your name. And so
could he be your customer?
He could, yes. Oh, and that so that was the other part to it too. He kind of started talking about how he deals with one of our competitors, and because a lot of times he has property having electricity for a month or 2 months, back and forth, shutting off. He needs to be engaged with a company that doesn't charge fees for that. I'm new. I don't know exactly how we do it, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, ding, 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 something to follow up on. So, I had that takeaway to discuss with my upline and figure out, so how do we manage these things?
Sure. Again, just comments on that. Whether Bob does this or not, we don't care. Whether Bob becomes a customer or not, we don't care. And just to clarify one thing you're talking about, again, we've got a lot of new people on the call. Bob was coming out with an excuse why he couldn't do this business. If there's any real estate agent people on the call that can correct me on this, I'm humble enough to say that I'm wrong. But I am pretty sure that real estate agents are not in any way restricted from doing another business that's like this. Sure, one needs to remain appropriate and respectful to each trade, but there's no rule out there saying that real estate agent people cannot do this business. So Bob was very kindly saying to you, no, I can't do this, and implying that he kind of wasn't allowed to do this, whether it was his own rules for himself. I just wanted to clarify that for people on the call. Real estate agents, prime targets. In fact, we probably have 1 or 2 on the call right now. In fact, I can see there's two names right there, and I know you're real estate agents, so we're good on that one. All right, well, we're at 8:45 right now, Mary. So you managed to get your 10 calls, your 9 calls done, and there was one that's still a callback. We don't have time to go through them all, but it doesn't matter. I wanted to kind of give people the idea of how to purge their list. That those people who were a no and those people who definitely were not interested, people like Bob, people like Jeannie, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that they're friends of ours on Facebook, because we want to make sure that they see our massive rise to success as we promote to RC, SC, and EC, because you never know when things might change for Bob, when things might change for Jeannie, and they see you on the Facebook page, they see your growing success, so that when they're on your drip list and you call them back in 3 to 6 months, they see that you, Mary, have gone from an RC up to a very strong SC, chasing your EC pin. Wouldn't that be great? And he's like, well, you know what? Yeah, things have changed a little bit, and I see you're doing really well. Very often people need to see you doing really well before they'll do it themselves. We know how that happens. So make sure everybody who's a prospect, make sure they're a friend on your Facebook page so that they can see your rise to success. So that will help you when you call them back in 3 to 6 months, just to follow up and see how things are going. And sometimes I do training on how to deal with a drip list, and I'll do that on another call sometime. But for right now, I wanted everybody on the call to see how to purge your list. Bob has been purged. Jeannie has been purged. James is coming. We're going to see him next week. Chris is already a brand new consultant, and will, as soon as possible, I hope, will be brought onto this call to help him plan his week. Obviously, there's Diane, and I know there's a few others on your list that we spoke to this week. But what was the score for the week? How many invitations were successful for the opportunity to show the plan? Whether they joined the business or not, how many of your calls out of the 9 that you managed to do did you actually manage to get a show the plan to?
8. I have 8 that accepted my invitation.
Man, 8 out of 9. Okay, guys, on the call, this is Mary and I did nothing special. We pulled out, all we did was what I told you at the beginning of the call. We had our written list. We pulled down our 10 names. We created invites using those rules, which I'm going to cover in just a second, the 5 rules. Mary allocated the time to do 2 calls a day, 1 accountability call. We managed to do every single accountability call. She managed to get 9 of the invites done, and she got 8 successful looks at the plan. If you get 8 people to look at the plan, she's already got 1 to join. She's got plenty who are still out there who are going to be meeting with her next week. I wouldn't be surprised if another 1 or even 2 people join her business. And remember how many we need? We only need 3 to really be working with us on this business. She could have completed that initial requisite to build her business with 1 week of planned calls. Guys, don't tell me that this purge call is not the secret sauce. It is. All of the skills you're going to learn in invites, getting in touch with your why, knowing how to overcome objections, you'll learn that as we go down the line. But Mary is a relative newcomer to the business. No one was going to say that Mary's some kind of slick expert. She's very nice. She's very cordial. But more importantly than that, she's disciplined to do the 2 calls and the accountability call. And that's why she's had the success. Mary, that is awesome.
Thank you.
So I'm going to let you go in just a second, but I'd love you to kind of just speak very briefly. You've kind of covered it at the beginning when you came on the call. What would you want to say to those folks who are on the call? We've got some people on the call who are long in the tooth. We've also got some people who are brand new to the business. Bearing in mind your experience this week, what would you have to say to the folks that are on the call with us right now? And we've got about 80 or 90 people who are listening to you. So what would you have to say?
You absolutely have to have structure. You have to treat your AMBIT business like you do anything else. And you think, oh, it's just a call, and you don't put it on your calendar. No, you have to do it. And once I did that, as I said before, I've been starting and stopping, but just doing that this week kind of created a momentum where there was happening this week. Yes, I may be able to get a call in, but I may not be able to meet with somebody until next week or whatever. And so you always, you plant the seeds, and they may not sprout until next week, the following week or whatever, but you constantly have to, get some things in place. And if you don't plan it, it can easily get dropped off your radar.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And looking, 8 out of 9 calls were an opportunity to show the plan. There's the result right there. Mary, that's fantastic. Mary, thank you so much for being my victim for the week. It was an absolute delight. I love you dearly. We've become great friends over the week. We're already friends anyway, but I know I'm going to be getting to see you pretty soon. Let me ask you one last question before I let you go. I'm not going to be your accountability partner next week, and I know you're going to be very upset with that. But next week has to continue the same way as this week is. So who is your accountability partner?
Jared Abshire.
Man, you got the king.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so again, everybody on the call, you heard that. Mary's been on the call with me this week. We've had a great week. As she said at the beginning, called the best week she's ever had in AMBIT. And now her week is done with me for right now, and she's already got a new accountability partner for next week. So everybody on the call, let's get your accountability partner. I'm going to carry on with that in just a second. But first of all, Mary, I'm going to say goodbye to you. Thank you again so much for being such a great victim this week. I loved how vulnerable you were and how you you're prepared to, kind of let us see your strengths and weaknesses and everything. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our week.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
All righty. Great. Okay. Well, guys, we've got 5 minutes, and I'm just going to help you make sure you got prepared for the week. Man, I'm going to first of all continue with what we were just talking about. Everybody on this call, who is your accountability partner? I see ECs on this call, so you better be someone's accountability partner. And there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing. I'm doing the same process as everybody else is. So ECs, you need to be doing this as well. But more importantly, you need to be somebody's accountability partner. If someone in your team is doing this, please be their accountability partner. Same with USCs and RCs. Get yourself your accountability partner. Now, guys, you've been listening to this call, and it's very easy to sit back and go, "Oh yeah, great job, Mary. You got 8 opportunities to show the plan." Please do not be passive on this call. Don't think I am not talking to you. I'm absolutely talking to you. Everyone, I can see your names on a list. I can see you all. I'm talking to each and every one of you on this call. Get yourself an accountability partner where you can pull down your top 10 names and plan the perfect invites for them. Schedule them into your calendar, or schedule, as I'm British, schedule them into your calendar. 2 invites a day, 1 accountability call a day. If you're brand new on the call, work with your upline to prepare a written list. They are your accountability partner. Have them help you sort it into the people you want to call first. And you do that using an Erica system, which scores them, which what that does is it brings the cream to the top of the milk. So all the good people come to the top of the list. Have your upline help you do that. Okay. Once you then have got those people, you've got 10 people who have come to the top of the list. Sit with your accountability partners, prepare the perfect invite for each of those people. And the rules are, pen and paper, grab this. I'll make it real quick. Number 1, be in a hurry. You heard Mary saying at the beginning of every invite, I was in a hurry. The reason why you're in a hurry is you don't want to get dragged into a what is it conversation. Always be in a hurry. Listen, I'm just about to get on a conference call, but I've been meaning to call you this week. That's how, or something along those lines, you start. So be in a hurry. Number 2, use your why or their why. Remember in my example earlier on, I was saying, hey, remember I was talking to you last week about Max going to college? I want to make sure he comes out of college without college loans. That's my why. Well, I know we were talking about Susan, who's going to college in a couple of years. I know you wanted to make sure you did the same thing for her. There's his why. Well, I've started, and that moves on to number 3, which is the hook. Well, I've started working on a new project that's going to make sure that Max comes out of class or out of college without any debt. There's a hook. That's pretty tempting. That's a hook. You got him. Hook your finger in your cheek, and you got him. Listen, it may or may not be your cup of tea. That's number 4, the takeaway. It may or may not be your cup of tea, and John, that's perfectly fine. Your friendship with me is more important than anything else, but this is working so well for me, and I'm so delighted that I'm not going to have to, come out with college debt for Max, that I really want you to take a look, because you'll be able to do the same thing with Susan. So again, the takeaway, and then be very intentional about the date. Number 5. So what are you doing after work on Friday at 5 o'clock? Okay, so number 1, be in a hurry. Number 2, use your why or their why. If you don't know that, then you can go with an opinion approach. Listen, I've been working with you for a long time, and maybe it's somebody who's older or a business approach, and say, look, I've just started a new business because I want to make sure I can get home to take care of my mom who's sick right now. I've started a new project. I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing. You've been very successful in business. I really would appreciate your opinion. And whether it's obviously something that you would be interested in or not is not the issue here. But I know you're also well connected, and I'd really appreciate referrals. So be in a hurry. You can use a why or their why. If you don't know that, you can go for an opinion approach. Then the hook. I found a way to make sure that Max doesn't come out of college without, make sure he comes out without any debt. There's your hook. Listen, John, it may or may not be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. There's the takeaway. But what are you doing after work at 5 o'clock? Or I know you have church in the morning. I can meet you at 12 o'clock for Starbucks in the Starbucks just around the corner from the church. Very intentional. Not, can you make time? Do you think you'll have time for? No. We want intentional. What are you doing after work at blah, 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 blah. Okay? Once you've got the invites done, write them down. Write them down, because we want you to start on Monday with an open calendar with time allocated for your invites, and the invites already written out. It's very comforting when you know that's how you start your week. Mary did exactly that, and look at her week. 9 invitations, 8 showing the plans, because the invites were perfect for each and every one. Okay, so don't be passive. Listen to this call. Make sure you're doing this for your particular business. All right, and that's your AMBIT week. That's how you would do it. 10 calls. You're going to do 2 invites a day, 1 accountability call. Now you just have to treat it with the same respect as you treat your job. Turn up for work. Don't not turn up. Okay? All right, so that's going to get you prepared for next week. We've got 2 minutes to go. I want to tell you a couple of things real quick. All of the recordings of these conversations and these calls are on the EC Riders Facebook page. For those of you on the call who want to be informed about these calls in future, you can get on my texting program. The way to do that is to text to the number 94033. That's in place of the telephone number you're texting to. It's 94033. It seems short, but it's absolutely right. And you text the word, all one word, 3x4, THREEBYFOUR, and you text that word to the number 94033. That'll get you onto the system. Okay, it's 8:58. We've got the EC Riders team call on Wednesday. Hope everyone's going to go to ambitlive.com to get registered for the big power training on October the 1st. And then right after this call, of course, we have the national call. The number for that is 712-432-7570. Again, 712-432-7570. The PIN code to get on is 84877. Again, 84877. I'm going to get off the call and get on that call as well. It's a great call. It's usually done by Brian McClure, number 1 income earner. Thank you, everybody, for getting on the call. Hopefully there was a lot of great information. I appreciate any feedback that you have. Have a great week next week. Make sure you're planned. Make sure you have time allocated. And make sure it's a great week. And I'll see you all next Sunday, same time, same place, brand new victim. All right, guys. Have a great night. See you soon. Bye-bye now.